This is episode 31. Welcome.
You can do it, and Rebecca will show you how, step by step all along the way. Introducing the Learn Flute Podcast.
Well, hello again today for another quick but extremely educational podcast here at the Learn Flute Podcast, which is companion to my website, Learn Flute Online, where you can find the best online flute lessons information on the planet. I'm Rebecca Fuller, the expert teacher and host, here to tell you that I really do believe that and hope that you've had time to come to the site and try it out for yourself. I get so many super testimonials weekly, and occasionally I like to pick one to share with you. Well, today I read from a student who's just about combed through every little inch of my program and is still learning. I tell you, he's a phenomenal online student, which is really fun because I'm always on the lookout for those people who really are earnest and eager to learn how to play the flute well. We just have a proximity and time issue to work around is all, and that's why my program works so well. I have it all set in sequential order, so the success is just waiting there for you. I'll just read part of the comment here. It says, I had an aha moment while practicing yesterday that I wanted to share with you, Rebecca. Months ago, in one of the gold level modules, you mentioned something that I should specifically feel with part of my face as I was playing. You gave it kind of a funny name, and I understood what you meant, but I never actually felt it until last night. For some reason, everything lined right up, and I really did feel that sensation. Then my tone was pure and consistent as a result. Fascinating that it took me so long to feel that. Thank you again for the amazing program. Well, I'd say thank you to this student. I happen to know that he's been a very, very careful and conscious part of my studio. It's amazing and beautiful what people can do when they put their minds to something and have a working plan. Now, today I wanted to take what this person said and dive in a bit deeper with you so that you can evaluate yourself and your own learning so that you can feel confident that you understand what needs to be done to feel just as good about your playing ability also. Now, the first thing that you'll need to make sure that you plan out is your practice sessions. Have I mentioned this before? You might have heard that saying before that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Well, I hope learning how to play the flute isn't quite as dramatic as that, but it's true that you do need a bit of planning so that you can take your precious time that we all only have so much of and accomplish what needs to be done so that your progress keeps moving onward and upward. Of course, there are many, many days as a budding musician that you can just hope to keep the learning curve level as you solidify important skills. It does take bucket loads of repeats to get the proper muscle memory. Now, I was doing some research for a speech I had to give the other day and was reminded of the 4 stages of learning. Now, I think you'll be interested in this right now. And you can take something from these next few minutes and evaluate your own stage, and you'll become better for it, I'm sure. So the first level is the unconsciously unskilled level. Now, this is obviously the stage when you don't know that you don't know something. It's kind of like being in bliss, except the day that you find out something within the next level. And then we move into the second level, which is the consciously unskilled level. Now, this is the day when you learn about something you didn't know, and you also don't know how to do it either. But because you now know that you don't know how, then you can get busy learning it and move into the next level, which is the third level of being consciously skilled. And this happens after education and practice has happened and you're pretty competent. This level always feels so good until you meet someone who's on the fourth level of learning, which is the unconsciously skilled. Now, this is reserved for those people who just seem to be natural at something. They don't even know that it was something that had to be learned. They just did it. Somehow, watching someone with this unconscious skill is kind of aggravating to those who've taken a lot of time and effort laboring to learn something like this. Now, what does this mean for you and your flute learning? Are you in the stage 1 of bliss? You're just happy to have a flute and not even know what you don't know? Or are you aware of something that you want to sound like or be able to play, but you just haven't quite learned or done what it takes to get there yet? Or perhaps you're on that super path of knowing what needs to be done, and you're chugging away, checking things off one at a time, getting it done and moving up the learning ladder and sounding better and better each day. And to summarize that fourth stage, if you happen to run across a skill that you're just naturally blessed at already knowing how to do, then just go ahead and pat yourself on the back there and use it to your advantage. So it doesn't really matter which level you're on when learning how to play the flute, because we can, through the process I set for you, we can take you from an unconscious state and point out the important little minuscule details that need to happen, and we'll get you there. I know you will. Everyone starts somewhere, and once we get somewhere, we just get to learn that there's another place that we should be or want to be, and we feel like we're just starting all over again through those stages of learning. It's actually kind of cool, and it seems to be just how our life is set up. Once we embrace the learning curves, we become some of the most satisfied and talented, for that matter, human beings on the planet. Well, that's it for today. I honestly could talk for hours about the stages of learning, and maybe I will at another time. I think it's kind of neat how we weave in and out of the levels of learning, and if we had a meter that measured our confidence levels, it would be even cooler, because the more we know, the more confident we are in our ability to dig in and learn even more. I really like playing the flute, and even more than that, I really enjoy helping you awesome people out there learn how to become skilled and happy yourselves. It's really great, isn't it? We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening today. Remember that this is where people of all ages, such as you, can come, learn, and play the musical instrument flute in an easy-to-follow, organized manner, and in the privacy and comfort of your own home, on your own schedule.